Mr. Fizame, the switch has been hacked.
By God, batten down the hatches, everyone. It's Reggie time.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 39 of The House of Mario. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and joining me, as always, is my best buddy, Bryce DeWitt.
Yep, and a nice pat on the back. I love you too.
I love you too. Today on the show, sound the alarms. The Switch has been hacked. And we talk about what we want from the next Pokemon game. And we're going to introduce a new Smash segment. But first, Bryce, how you going?
Oh, I'm doing alright, mate.
You doing alright?
Yeah, how about you?
Good?
Good. What have you been doing?
I've been doing a bit of streaming, been playing some Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. I'm looking for a shiny Latios at the moment.
And did you find that big boy?
I did not find that big boy.
Well,
no.
That is the consequences of shiny hunting, is wasting a shit ton of time.
Pretty much, yeah. But I did it on Twitch, so you know, I don't know if you noticed, Bryce, but they've introduced achievements on Twitch.
Oh yeah, there's been like that for a while.
Has it? Well, I've unlocked some achievements, so
good man.
So it was quite the achievement. It wasn't just sitting there in the dark room, soft resetting to get Latios.
Well, at least you tried.
I did try. So Bryce, the Switch has already been hacked.
Yes.
By hacking groups, thanks to its NVIDIA card.
And a dodgy right Joy-Con.
So, emulators are already working on the thing. Custom firmwares is in the works of being built and stuff like that. So, according to people in the scene, the Switch is already caught up to what the 3DS hacking scene's seeing.
Yeah, because it's the thing is when it comes to, again, when you said about NVIDIA tech, NVIDIA tech's really easy to push around and develop with. So yeah, it wouldn't take them long at all. It's a lot less malleable than AMD can be. So it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
So because it's a hardware a hardware exploit, they're actually not able to put any software updates out for it, which it's kind of cool, but it's also worrying for like the future of Switch if Nintendo don't come out and like change something quite quick. They've already put patents in for changing some internal stuff in the Switch. It won't be like a Switch Lite or anything, but there'll be some slight modifications, so you can't just hack it quite as easy.
No, yeah. Just I think it'll be changes to the Joy-Cons and stuff mostly, honestly, and the way that they operate in a new system.
Or you don't reckon it'll just be I reckon they will change the
They'd have to change the current system.
They have to change the chips to something. They can't change it completely because the games won't work. But they need to change it so it's not so.
They just need to make it less exploitable. Because the whole thing is with hacking it, literally you could do it with a paperclip. That's how exploitable it is. You can literally just it like without going too far into detail. It involves the right Joy-Con and a paperclip, which you know, when you think about it, a paperclip is pretty much a household item at this point.
You just listen to what you just said.
Well, it is.
At this point, the paperclip's a household item.
Well, I was about to continue on, but you friggin'...
No, go on, sorry.
Everybody has one.
Yeah.
Somewhere around the house, or a bobby pin or something along the same lines that can conduct.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's the same thing that's happened with the 3DS in the past, obviously, and stuff like that, where it's almost completely inexpensive to do it. You go down the store and buy a paperclip, and you're done and you're ready. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's like the 3DS. This news actually come up at a kind of convenient time because, like, a couple of weeks ago, I bought a couple of 2DSs, the Pokemon editions. I'm like, oh, I've got two 3DSs sitting around doing nothing. So I actually looked into putting some homebrew stuff on it, and I put custom firmware on it and tinkered around with that. Mm-hmm. And it's actually quite fun getting all that stuff going. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know there was that little tinkerer nerd sort of inside of me, but there is.
Yeah, when you start doing that stuff though, that's when you. It's the same with modding games as well. Like you just once you start getting into it and you want to like see a resolve and see the end result, you keep pushing to do it. You know what I mean? And I know that with the 3DS stuff like that is relatively straightforward. It's just a whole lot of copy pasting basically. But when it comes in terms of like modding and all that and getting around certain system restrictions and all that stuff, it's you look at it and you go, I just want this to work, and you work hard to make it work, and yeah, it is a bunch of fun, and it does catch your attention once you're in that mood.
Yeah, because like they're already, like as I said, they're already in the process of making custom firmware, so you'll be able to run homebrew games, and eventually, I dare say, piracy won't come too far down that line.
Oh no, yeah, piracy will be pretty immediate for the most part, I think.
Like I've already told you this, but like the video I was watching on YouTube that sort of outlined all this, he was saying that, all right, I'm going to stop updating my firmware, so then like I'll be able to do this, but I won't be able to play Splatoon online. Like apparently the guy who said this plays a lot of Splatoon online. And I'm just like, why would you stop updating your system so you can't play your $80 game on your $400 handheld just so you can hack it? I don't see the point in that, really.
Well,
especially I don't know, at this stage, especially when it's
piracy is the biggest thing on that, is because it's piracy. It's free games for a lot of people and stuff like that. I'm not saying go out and start pirating now, because you absolutely shouldn't. You should always support your developers. But
especially Switch, like
Switch is the console that needs it right now. Everything else for Nintendo's pretty much set up, or it's been killed off. So if you are listening to this and you're considering it, you're like, don't support your developers, please. We want this console to move forward personally.
Well, remember a year. It's sort of hard to remember now, because we were just like, I hope this thing sells. I hope developers catch on.
Yeah.
And now that it has, it's sort of hard to remember when our mindset was like that.
Well, yeah, that's it, because it has been a roaring success, and it's continuing to impress. With the company changes and stuff like that, we'll see where that goes in terms of like how the Switch is going to operate. But yeah.
So I am really curious to see where this what they can do with the custom firmware. They've already got emulators working on it. So they've got the Dolphin emulator, which is a GameCube emulator, working fairly well without any optimization, which is really good.
Yeah.
And I guess it's pretty appealing as well, because there's no signs of Virtual Console yet, let alone GameCube games.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's the other thing as well, is that with them messing around with this, it opens up future potential and thoughts of like, hey, look, GameCube games can run on the Switch, or like the hardware has the capacity to do it. So, it'll only be a small amount of time before Nintendo's like, we have like the source code for the GameCube and everything that we can put in like to the Switch through an update sort of thing. It'll be good.
Yeah, it really shows you how powerful the hardware is when they're doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Even when we were discussing between us the other day, and you've dabbled in it yourself, but with the new 3DSs, with them being hacked and stuff like that, it enables for video sharing.
Like wireless streaming to your PC.
Wireless streaming. Yeah. That's crazy.
Like there's a lot of like piracy aside, I know that's like
that's awful. Yeah,
But just like the opportunities it can open is just like exciting. Like with the new 3DS, there's no application, so like I never bothered with sending my 3DS to get a hard mod or anything like that.
No,
to stream on Twitch. Because it costs a lot. You have to send it to America, I believe. There's nowhere in Australia.
You could be without that 3DS for anywhere from 6 weeks to 3 months, or
so it's not really worth it, especially for someone like me who's like, like if I had a huge YouTube channel. I'm like, oh, I forgot to get my 3DS mod and get the tax off. But yeah, just having the homebrew application, just send it straight to your PC. So, oh right, I can actually use it on Twitch now and do some streaming, and there's a couple of other applications which are really handy.
Makes you wonder why. Oh well, I suppose it's pretty obvious why Nintendo doesn't allow for it, but it would have been nice to have. It just seems like the hardware in mind was built for the capability to do these things almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like that, especially on the new 3DS where they've got the SD card, where you have to actually take out the screws and take the panel off.
Yeah.
Like, the new 3DS has the capability to actually be able to transfer files to the PC wirelessly.
Yeah.
And there's official software, there's absolutely no way to do that.
No.
Which is ridiculous, especially how they built the thing.
Yeah.
I still remember getting my Majora's Mask, new 3DS XL, shiny, looks nice. And I'm like, they have a screwdriver trying to put a freaking SD card in. I'm like scared as hell. And the screws don't just go, they don't just come out.
No.
It's like a big crack. Oh, it feels awful. It feels awful taking that panel off.
It does.
And just knowing that it has the capability to be able to do that, like just wirelessly do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Like why the hell is it operating in the way that it is? Yeah.
So Homebrew really, it helps a lot with that type of thing, but.
Oh, yeah.
Be interesting to see what they do with the Switch. You might be able to like wirelessly play it on your TV without using the dock. I dare say that's going to be a thing that's going to be able to be done.
Yeah, well, I would say so. If a new 3DS can handle that, I don't see why a Switch couldn't.
No.
But
depends on the game that's running at the time and stuff. But.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure I would call it an optimal way to play, of course. But
no.
You know, all you can do is wait and see on the regards.
Especially when you take the Joy-Cons off, it's like, why would you? But
yeah. Oh well, we'll just have to wait and see where it goes, I guess. As long as piracy doesn't come too far into it, like I personally see no issue with people.
It's going to,
of course it will, but like, I don't know. I just hope, because as far as I know. Like, I don't know what Nintendo's got in place on the Switch for them type of systems.
Not a lot, probably.
Probably not, unfortunately. Oh well. We will see what happens.
We will. So, Bryce, we've had a bit of a discussion in the Discord community. Some of the guys in there, they've been saying, what can Nintendo do to get Drew and Bryce excited about the new Pokemon games? And my answer to that is absolutely nothing. No. Doesn't matter what they do. I said the complete opposite just then. Doesn't matter what they do, I'm going to be excited about the new Pokemon games. Yeah,
and I agree. This was actually something asked the other day, and we already had a discussion about it, and I think that comes to the conclusion, really, is we're going to be excited no matter what. It's the worry about the end product that has got our issues going. We're excited that it's coming to Switch.
Hells yeah. What else is it going to come to? 3DS again, I guess.
Yeah, it could be. You never know.
Smartphone. Oh God.
Please don't. But there is absolutely the 100% no lack of hype on our end for that. It's going to be a great game in its own right, but just with the current trend of how Pokemon games are being, we're a bit worried about the actual end product. I think we've made mention plenty before about how Sun and Moon kind of drones.
Well, it's just like X and Y. I enjoyed both Sun and Moon and X and Y playing through the games fine. Both were on the easy side and sort of a lot of battles. I don't know about you, but none were particularly memorable.
No.
I remember the end of Sun and Moon, I can remember. It's like, oh, yeah, the Professor's the champion because it's such a young league. That's cool. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Spoilers in case you hadn't played them, but
I think if
it's not too big a deal.
I was going to say I think by this point, if people were going to listen to it, they probably would have known. But sorry if you didn't.
What was I talking about? Oh, so both were quite easy, and and when you finish the game, there's not a whole lot to do afterwards. Sort of Sun and Moon, you sort of had the Like, you're going around with the detective and you're doing the Ultra Beast. Like, there's a bit there, and Ultra Sun and Moon, you've got, you can go and catch the legendaries. And I feel like that's their answer to a lot of post-game now. It's like, here's some things to catch.
Yeah.
But, like, nothing's like what say Ruby and Sapphire were like the Reggies, where you've really got to think and work it out. And, like, it's a real mystery to get to them. And, like, even in the box, you get a Braille chart. Like, it's really quite elaborate, and they put some thought into these legendaries.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Braille makes perfect sense for, like, their patterns and everything on them. Like,
yeah.
And there's nothing like that. Like, X and Y, you had Zygarde, and, like, we had no idea what Zygarde is.
we never got our explanation of what the fuck Zygarde was until the anime finished the season. In
actual X and Y, there's no reason they couldn't have said something about it in there. Like, you get, like, it's the world tree. Like, you get some of that information, like the three legendaries represent, the certain gods.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really know that much, but yeah, you don't really. They obviously skipped Z for whatever reason. Like, they didn't have a good enough idea for a full game, or they just want to go straight to the next gen because next gen generates more hype and money.
Yeah, no.
And they sort of just like, oh well, it's got different forms and that in those games, but
it was just the problem with X and Y inherently was that there was just, once you finished the game, it felt like there was nothing. Like, literally nothing.
No, there wasn't really.
Literally nothing, and that was the problem.
I'm sure some people can be listening. Oh no, there's the Battle Cafe, and that was great, but
yeah,
but there wasn't like, Gold, Silver, go to a new region. There wasn't Emerald, go to the Battle Frontier, and they're like even like Platinum, like they had their own Battle Frontier. Soul Silver, like Heart Gold had like the Kanto region and the Battle Frontier.
Yeah, that's it.
So
it just reflects a lot.
So a lot of the guys in the Discord were talking about what they want from, like, the next generation of Pokemon, or the next Pokemon game. I assume it's going to be another generation, because what we just said, it generates more hype and it'll make more money for them.
I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah.
Because a lot of people are talking about, is it going to be just a, is it going to be a new gen? Of course it's going to be a new gen.
Has to be.
Was it going to be, it's not going to be like Gen 7 and it's, we're up to Gen 7, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gen 7, but...
No, I just lost track there for a bit of what generation we're up to.
Yeah, I always lose track, unfortunately.
So, what do you want the next Pokemon game to be? So, I think we've already touched on the topic of we want more post-game stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does more post-game stuff look like? Like, they can make a whole thing about post-game, but it still might not be, appealing to you. So, what would you want?
Battle Frontier, like other region journeys, even if it's like Fire Red and Leaf Green with the Sevi Islands, that's fine for me.
Yeah, and like Diamond and Pearl, like they had the islands there too.
Yeah,
their own set of islands post game.
Yeah, even something like that. Even though I didn't have too much interest in Diamond and Pearls for whatever reason, it was alright.
It's still fun. It had like its own story and that.
Yeah, it did. But I don't know. It just didn't feel as interesting as the previous ones. It just seemed like the content, like that type of content, got smaller until it eventually faded out completely, and they didn't do it anymore. Even Gen 5, my favorite Pokemon games were like that. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Anyway, yeah. So Battle Frontier, more places to explore. I want to see, like, the post game story in Oras was really good. Something like that again.
Yeah.
There's so much. There's so many ideas that you would think, oh god, that seems stale by now. But it literally adds a lot to the game. Whether you like that post game content or not, it's still money's worth that you're paying for.
I really liked how that chapter post game and Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, how it actually played off the rumor in like the original games. How like there was some rumor if you go to the space station, however many days in a row, you eventually go to space and you catch Deoxys. And like in those games, you go to space and you catch Deoxys. It's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah.
It was a cool story, and It just you had a couple of characters introduced and they were memorable. A lot of people had fun with it. I think. I don't think I've ever heard a genuine complaint about that after story.
Yeah. So what I would want is a chapter similar to that. So you have a story chapter which, goes on more once you've become the champion. Because once you become the champion, everyone just goes quiet. Everyone doesn't want to know you. You're too good for everyone or something. I don't know.
It's like, you don't walk into a town and people don't come and throw flowers at your feet. Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
And there's, I guess with the Pokemon games as well, a lot of a lot of features get taken out. Like cool features get taken out. Like the Verse Seeker they introduced in Fire Red Leaf Green, where you could just reverse any trainers on a route, which is great for grinding and leveling up.
Yeah.
They get rid of that. They got rid of. They brought back rebattling gym leaders in Pokemon Emerald version. They get just good features. They keep on getting rid of.
Yeah.
Like if you had a Pokemon game when you can reverse gym leaders, you've got something like the Battle Frontier. You've got a chapter which like a story chapter which lasts you maybe 5 hours or something. That doesn't have to be major. Maybe 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. Doesn't have to be anything big.
As long as it's something.
Then there's good opportunities to sort of grind out Pokemon for competitive plays. Maybe do something to make shiny hunting and stuff like that, which is huge on Twitch at the moment. Sort of something different. I don't know. They have done a good job at that, sort of putting in methods for shiny hunting into the newer games. But
well, I think the inherent problem with shiny hunting is like a post, it even was a mid game thing to do, but like a post game was typically when people did it. Shiny hunting, even in the post game type of sense, like it's just the issue with it in earlier generations. Obviously, is the chances were ridiculous, and what was the point in doing it? Do you know what I'm saying? There were people that would soft reset over 10,000 times on gold and silver for a shiny. That's a lot of times just for a starter.
Well, I was talking to someone in my Twitch chat today, and he said he's reset over 16. I think it was 16. Was it 1600 or 16,000?
Probably 1600.
Yeah,
I think anybody would give up at 16,000.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, so 1600 times is soft reset for like a Chikorita or a starter in Soul Silver.
Oh, couldn't do it.
Yeah, because going back to those games, your chances of cut in half as well.
They are absolutely. It's just way too much. Unfortunately, way too much for me, way too much for anyone. In saying that, I've seen speedrunners and stuff like they'll start a game, and I think Worcester was the most recent. Worcester is the biggest example I could think of. He just booted up the game one day, going for a typical silver or gold run, and then he flicked through the starters to get to whoever was last in line. I can't remember who it was in those games. I think it was Chikorita or Cyndaquil or Totodile or somebody. Anyway, he was flicking through and he's just like, that's a shiny. That's a fucking shiny. So I just had to stop that speed run. He's like, well, the speed run's over. And you wouldn't even. It's not because he has to sit there and he has to trade or anything like that. No, it's because it takes extra time every time you get into a battle.
Oh, right, of course, yeah, because it goes ding. Yeah.
It takes extra time, so the run is dead if you get a shiny.
Wow.
That's how crazy it was. It was just like, holy crap. Like, you can literally transfer a Pokemon up from Gen 1 to Gen 2 to Gen 3 to Gen 4 to Gen 5 to Gen 6, Gen 7, whatever.
You can't go 2 to 3, but...
Can't you? Oh, no, you can't, can you? Jeez. Yeah. Well, even then, it'll be useless shiny. You know what I mean? How often are you going to play competitive Pokemon Silver and Crystal Gold?
Oh, no, it's not that. It's just a cool thing to have. But
yeah, but I mean, just looking at it from the standpoint of, like, if you're somebody that resets the game a lot, to do speedruns, you don't really have an emotional attachment to these things. You know what I'm saying? You could come out with, like, the best Typhlosion you've ever ran a speedrun with, but you're not going to save that Typhlosion. You're just going to get rid of it in the end anyway. Yeah,
I dare say.
You know, anyway, just yeah, I'm glad overall. I guess my point was I'm glad that they've put more focus into shiny hunting methods, because it really perks up something. It's not anything over dramatic or whatever, but there's a lot of hype generated in the community via shiny hunting. And it brings more attention to Pokemon, which is great.
Well, yeah, that's the good thing they've done with X and Y, just halving the the rate of shiny. So it goes from
8,000 something.
Yeah, 8,000 something to 4,000 something.
8,182.
Yeah.
Or 92.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So you've got a lot more chance of getting it. So it goes from almost kind of impossible to doable.
Yeah.
So like people actually give it a go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And with shiny methods as they are, it's not hard to go back and perform those methods. Usually nowadays shiny hunting methods are tied to specific mechanics to the game, like the way fishing worked in X and Y, or hell, in Sun and Moon you also had like cry for help. That was that was great. I've got a couple shinies like that, so that's good.
Yeah.
But apart from something as community driven as shiny hunting, they need something that's actually challenging for somebody who doesn't sit there and cares about that type of thing. They actually want a challenge.
Like I know we put like the Battle Frontier on this like big pedestal, but like some of the
try to see reason. It is the best endgame content.
The best endgame content. It's like a fine one. No, but like some of them were bullshit. Like
oh, absolutely.
Oh my god.
Battle Pyramid.
Fucking Battle Pyramid. Yeah.
There's like a bunch of us that are just like, we beat the Pike. And the Pike is like the easiest one.
Then you do the what's the one when you get lent the Pokemon?
The Battle Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do that one, like you get like a good roll of Pokemon, like cool.
Just rip and tear everything. Beat Norman, get his medal. Fuck you, Norman. See you, mate.
See you, buddy.
Yeah. But there were places in the Battle Frontier that weren't flawless, and some of them were just easy. Some of them were ridiculously hard, and you never wanted to touch them ever again. But
no.
Just the illusion of a challenge is there, and if anybody ever wants to do it, they can go and do it.
I still remember getting to the top of the Battle Pyramid, and just those Reggies just wrecked me, just absolutely destroyed me.
That's what you get for versing the Reggies.
You do,
even though they're really not that great.
No, I remember Regirock just like
that was also a time before we were really into
the metagame, yeah.
The metagame.
I had no idea about natures at that point.
No. And if we did, we probably would have stood more of a chance. But
yeah,
the game didn't really teach you much about that either. And if there is anything that Pokemon needs to teach you about nowadays, it is that the metagame exists and that natures are a thing. And that IVs and EVs are a thing. They have to teach you in some form.
Well, they do show you a lot more, like
They do,
like what stats are up and what stats are lowered.
They do, but they don't make too much of a mention about it either.
No, but do you?
I understand they want. I understand they want to keep the illusion of like Pokemon is a kid's game, and you're meant to make your own journey and have your own fun, and that's great. But there are people out there that care about that stuff in the end game.
Well, they do the very like subtle, like hints towards it, like NPCs and stuff like that. But so that's the end game. That's what we want from the end game. What do you want through the actual story? Are you not worried about the story? Just like another evil team, and
I just don't want to be handheld. I really, the thing is with Sun and Moon, I liked their teams.
Yeah.
I thought they were fine. I thought Team Skull was probably one of the best team additions they'd ever made. My favourite is still Plasma and Neoplasma. Never get me wrong on that. They will always be my favourite. But Team Skull provided a comedic effect and a tragic backstory that if you looked into it, like with Guzma, You know, it had like this tie-in of like they were thugs because they wanted to look after their own. You know what I mean? And all the way up until the end, they were characterized. They felt like their own uniqueness and stuff like that. Not really sure how to feel about the Aether Foundation so much, because they didn't really clarify way too much on it either. They were just like, "Oh, Lusamine is evil, ha! She wants to be eaten by a jellyfish and turned into a tentacle woman, ha!"
Yeah. Okay.
Then you know you had the conspiracy, which I think is probably true at this point. I think it's pretty obvious. But Mon on the what do you even call it? The island thing, the mini game thing. Can't remember what it was called.
Mon, what? Pokemon?
No. Mon, as in like the guy with the straw hat and stuff like that on the touchscreen mini game where you put your Pokemon and you can get shinies from it.
Okay, I didn't really play much with it. Okay,
well because the whole reason Lusamine went crazy is because Naya Lego had taken her husband somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And it was just like, oh, that's her husband, because he has like the exact same fucking hair as Gladion. So, you know, and people were like, oh, he has to be, right? And we're all like, this community was like, oh, come on, that has to be it. And like, I think it's just widely accepted at this point that the person who's running the Poképalago,
that's it.
The Poképalago. The person who's running the Poképalago is the father.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, why haven't you gone home yet and stopped your wife from being a crazy bitch? She's looking for you, dude. Go home.
That's why he doesn't want to go home. He says, I'm chilling in the Poképalago. I'm not going anywhere.
I just want to eat my jelly beans, okay? God damn. You know, I think stuff like that and being riddled without the game is cool. It gives you a little more lore to look into and stuff like that. The trials were good. They added more flavor to the game. They weren't super challenging, and they probably could have been. But the worst one was Mimikyu for most people, I think. The Mimikyu challenge was awful. It was a really strong Mimikyu. Really, really strong.
I don't mind that so much, but just like the ones where it's like you got to go and collect the ingredients, it's like cool. It's like,
oh yeah,
like I compare those, like they replace gyms. Like we've replaced gyms. We've got these things called trials, but like a lot of them, you're doing similar things to what you're doing in a gym. Like you're doing little like, light puzzles and stuff. Like it's not all that different.
It's not, but there's more flavor text to it and there's more personality to it.
Yeah.
Except for that really, really like
lazy one.
The awkward mini game again where you go and collect stuff and then you have to go mix it up with a pestle and mortar and you've got people to telling you to pound it and beat it harder and you're like
never do that motion again. Oh.
It's just something you're gonna think like it's like they didn't think about it at all.
Yeah, well, maybe the designers in Japan aren't such sick-minded bastards like we are over here.
Probably not, but it's just I don't know the way it was. I was just like, oh god, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Well, you don't like your Pokemon games telling you to pound it?
I don't like 10-year-olds.
Oh, that's a good point. They're only young, aren't they?
Yes, that was the whole problem.
Well, if they were 20, you're like, oh, yeah, just pound away.
It would have just been like, ha, funny adult joke, but that isn't an adult joke. You know? So, that aside, you know, you think about Kimoi's challenge with the differences in poses and the hiker.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
That was great.
Yeah, that's really good.
See that one, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before as well. But that one extremely screwed with me because he only had three options on the bottom screen. I picked every single one. I'm like, what is going on here? And like, there's no option that works. And then I was like scrolling through them, and then I hit down one more time when I was on the third option, realized it was the fourth option.
See, I just went straight down and clicked on it. I don't know what you were doing.
The fourth option was hidden.
Yeah, well, it wasn't hidden. It was just.
There was a scroll, but I didn't see that because the last two before them only had three options.
No, I get that. It's just
I just didn't think about it.
You're just like, oh,
I thought the hiker was sort of just there as a distraction to keep you away from another option.
You're like, what's different here? It's not this man just in the background.
I knew it was I knew he was different. I was just looking at it and I was like, hey, I was like, well, there's no option for the hiker, right? So there has to be something wrong here. I thought there must have been something very minor happening with a different Salandit or Marowak or whatever it was at the time. And then you had the Salazzle come up in the picture, and that was great. I'm great. I'm grateful that they had the bit of comedy.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. It's a good game. Like, it was fun to play through. It's just,
and the anime is good.
Yeah.
It is just the problem with it is it is a hand holding fest, and it doesn't really.
Yeah, it's very chatty. They try to tell you a story a lot through cutscenes and just text boxes, and like a lot of those cutscenes, a lot doesn't happen. Like, they're just talking. Yeah. And like a lot of the other Pokemon games, they let you, like, they do that. You get to a town and your rival's like, hey, what's going on? You should go to the trainer school. No, but it's nowhere near as bad as it. Like they're doing in Sun and Moon.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I guess that's my complaint. I like exploring and checking. That's why I like Pokemon games.
You like to feel you have your own free range.
Honestly, if not one person come up and talk to me in the Pokemon game, I'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to get to a town and go, oh, here's a department store. Oh, go in there, see what's for sale.
Oh, would you like some Pokeball?
It's like, here's the gym. You're like, well, I want to go to a different town. Like, see what's in this patch of grass. Like, that's what I like in a Pokemon game.
It's like, hey, it's Breath of the Wild, but Pokemon.
So, Bryce, I'd like to move on to our Discord community. So they're the ones who gave us the idea for this little topic, and they've been having a conversation about what they'd like in the next Pokemon game.
Yep. We'll read some comments.
Yeah, and JPD, he wants the next Pokemon game to be a bit like Xenoblade, open worlds, and so you can actually see the Pokemon in the wild instead of just like random encounters.
Right. Yeah.
How do you feel about, like, I feel the Xenoblade open worldish like next Pokemon game? I feel like that's the logical next step, and we might see that. Like, it might just be what Sun and Moon is, but a bit bigger.
I actually really like the idea of having like a full scale open world for Pokemon, and I think it's perfectly feasible to want that, and it's perfectly and technically possible to happen. Mm-hmm. We have Xenoblade as proof of that. Yeah. We have Zelda as proof of that. Jesus.
You have Skyrim on the Switch too. Like, there's a lot of you have Minecraft, depending how big your server is.
Yeah, well, the potential is there for them to do something like that, and I'd absolutely love to see it. However, I have to disagree on seeing Pokemon in the wild.
Yeah, I'm a bit different on that as well, because it's all about going into grass and like it generates like what Pokemon comes up. It's like,
yeah. The issue is that like I understand if you like. If you walk up to them, have a battle like you do in Xenoblade, it wouldn't work. The only reason that wouldn't work is because the procedural generation of all these infinite possibilities of Pokemon, regardless of whether they're the same species, that would be too hard, and it would relay things back to, like, you've caught this Pokemon, now you've got to leave the area if you want to respawn another one. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Yeah.
Or if it's like, hey, it respawns over. You could say, hey, it respawns over time. That would also kind of denote the purpose, because a lot of people when they're going and shiny hunting, which again is a massive part of the Pokemon hype right now. That's pretty much all the YouTube videos are, all the Twitch streams are. That doesn't really work in that scenario.
I was actually I've just remembered too. From Black and White 2, like, onwards, you actually can, if you go to caves or whatever, you actually can see the Pokemon in the wild before you go to them. Like, you can't see like what Pokemon it is, but you can see, like, for example, in a cave, you can see that there's a bit of dirt moving around. And if you go up to that bit of dirt, like, it puts you into a battle. Yeah. I think like that's actually a really smart way of doing it. Like, you can see there's a Pokemon there, and you can go around it. But you can also be like, all right, there's a Pokemon, I want to see what it is, because usually when that thing pops up, it means that it's a stronger, maybe more rare Pokemon. Yeah. So I think that's quite a good way to handle it. I
think that's a great way to handle it. again, I could probably go on for a while about it, so I just kind of want to wrap up my thought on it in saying that because of the procedural generation of how every Pokemon is, like, they weren't kidding when they say, every Pokemon is pretty much an individual in how it is. It's very rare you will ever find a Pokemon with the same statings, whether it be visible or invisible stats. So I think you would have to keep random encounters, and random encounters still work in games these days. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to denote that. There's still plenty of popular games coming out that feature random encounters and RPGs and stuff that work fine. You know what I'm saying? It seems like the logical step moving forward would be to ditch that, but with something as like mechanically complex as Pokemon can be, I don't think it's a good idea.
No.
I do like the idea of the big open worlds, though. Don't get me wrong. I think it'd be great. Like, I'm just thinking back to like Chronicles X and how beautiful that world was, and what you could get up to, what you could achieve, what you could climb and stuff like that. Imagine you got like in a Pokemon game like that, you'd have like rock climb or something like that to climb a cliff face, and you just
like you actually go up like hundreds of
and
meters.
You look over, you see like the top of the world, and you're just like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that'd be actually really cool.
It's something really cool.
Because like in the Pokemon games at the moment, you sort of just like cut down tree. If you're like, I can go past now. You're like, yeah, next down. But like, yeah, if you actually like scale a cliff, it's like you go like hundreds of, then you're actually looking over to where you've come up from. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be and I'm talking like you wouldn't be restricted on where you could use those type of moves too. You could literally just you see a rock face. That rock face is like somehow programmed and meshed to be climbable with a move, and then you just rock climb up that that cliff face. And then you sit on top of wherever you are. You look over, you can see like a town in the distance or something.
Especially
like
the soaring ability in Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. Could you imagine like doing that in an open world 3D game? Look,
it'd be so cool.
It'd be fun as yeah.
It'd be really cool. So yeah, I agree with 1 out of 2 of those points.
I mean, obviously it would be awesome to be like you're walking and you just see like Charizards flying around and like. If you see like a Squirtle, oh my god, it's a Squirtle, and just run up to the Squirtle. I think that has really good.
I do too.
Like you could really get immersed in the world that way, but
I do too. But I think there's a way to approach that without making those encounters actually encounters.
Maybe like the boss characters, you can see them. Like yeah,
or like the thing is you could also consider stuff like. You do have moves that you can use in the world or items and stuff like that. Stuff like Sweet Scent. Yep. You could use to draw out Pokemon, and you could encounter them that way. Maybe.
You'll actually see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think. That like you should ever ditch random encounters in Pokemon because of the way it is. I think it's kind of important. Random encounters stay the way they are, what they need to be.
Yeah. Because there was a conversation. There was someone who doesn't really play Pokemon. They said, "Oh, what I'd like to see in the next Pokemon games is it to turn from a turn-based turn-based strategy combat to a like basically third-person game, like you control the Pokemon." And I'm just like, no, because it's not really Pokemon if you do that.
No, yeah, that would make Pokemon real time, and I don't like as cool of a concept as that could be. I don't want that for a mainline Pokemon game. If I want to fight as a Pokemon at the moment, I'll play Pokken.
Yeah, there's like spin-off games like Pokken and even Mystery Dungeon's a bit closer to what they're talking about. Like you're actually moving about a little bit. And
Anyway,
yeah. So Metadox, he's brought up, what about if Pokemon had multiple endings?
That'd be interesting. The only thing is like shaping the end of the game would be a lot harder.
It's like what would that mean? Would that be like if you lose against the Pokemon League, like you just lose?
you never go back again?
Everyone's just like, you're a loser, mate. It's like, oh my god, I am. Yeah.
I think the only inherent issue with that is that you've got the end game to consider. It would be good to see, but it would affect the world that you're going to be mucking around with for the next like anywhere from 20 to 700 hours or something, depending on how much you love Pokemon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's cool, but they would have to try really hard to make it work.
No, they're be honest, the Pokemon stories, for the most part, they're pretty basic. Let alone introducing multiple endings and that too. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, they don't leave a lot of wiggle room, and the only time they've ever made like a super, in my opinion, a super over compelling Pokemon story is when they've brought political issues into the rough. Like that's when it starts to get a bit darker. And
Donald Trump.
Well, I was thinking more the
I know
the plasma teams, or hell, even Team Aqua and Magma. They're the same as well.
He also brought up that like if you have like a job system, so
now this is I like this.
Yeah, I like this too. So you could take on like for example like a bird tamer and like you add stab to flying type moves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That could be really cool.
Potential to specific types of Pokemon, and I think this is good because it falls under the category of we need more character customization. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like they could make like the customization in the games at the moment is really good. Like I love customizing my character. You can do like different haircuts and different glasses and whatever. But imagine if like you buy a jacket and it adds like you can do outfits for like essentially give you your job, and then that powers up your move, and that's sort of instead of mega evolutions or Z moves.
Or even if you don't want your character to be specifically defined by what they're wearing, and you want to make an afro-headed person with tight top and short shorts, and you want to be an electrician. You know what I mean? If you don't want to be restricted by that, I think that it would be good to have like the inclusion of some mini games of some kind, some grindable mini games to get your stats up, as long as they're not too tedious. Do you know what I'm saying? They already tried that with super training. Yeah, and super training's good. Like it achieves its goal, and you can earn EVs with very low effort.
Yeah, compared to what it used to be. Jesus.
Yeah.
They changed it, didn't they?
Yeah.
I remember just killing Psyduck after Psyduck after Psyduck.
Yeah.
And Goldeen after Goldeen after Goldeen. That's how I got my Tyranitar.
Uh-huh.
Surfing around a Cerulean cave, just killing
Goldeen. Just from that perspective, it's like, it could be cool. You have like these little mini games, and the more you do them or whatever, it'd be very similar to doing contest stuff almost. But for your trainer.
Yeah, I would like to see something like contests come back. Like not like I feel like in a Ruby and Sapphire they were pretty good. Then in Diamond and Pearl they sort of made them lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they sort of went to like this is like for girls who don't want to battle. Essentially,
yeah.
Like they kind of made it like that.
It got a bit too casual.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it as well. The only frustrating thing ever about contest was trying to get the right amount of beauty blocks for Milotic.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing. But mixing berries and stuff was okay, and it added a little more depth to content within the game. I guess. Yeah.
So, what do you reckon they bring back? Like breakdancing. Pokemon breakdancing. Hitmonlee.
I just want it so
Hitman Top would fucking kill breakdancing.
Well, in terms of the character. I love myself. The character customization stuff. I just think it'd be cool. My TLDR on it, I guess, is I just like them to have some cool little mini games or something like that, and you sort of gear yourself to more towards what you intend to use. I think you could add some nice little mini games in there. Like you could have your own mini rhythm game for guitarist, or you get like artist, and you like more attuned to fairy types or something, and you can like color in a picture or something.
Why do you want that? If they put that in where you're coloring in pictures to power up fairy type moves, you'll be the first person to complain about it.
No, not really, because they don't have to make it a necessity. And as long as they keep it out of the competitive multiplayer, then it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
It's just more flesh to the game. You know, it's something to do in your downtime, and eventually you could tackle all of them, and then just make it really good, and you could use that for end game content, which would hopefully be in a game.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to make it necessary. It just kind of gives you a leg up for doing something a little extra.
Mm. Yes. All right. So we'll move on from that, and so just finishing up our Pokemon topic.
Mm-hmm.
The next Pokemon games, what do you want it to be called? Or like, not like, do you want to be like, for example, new gen, new region, new, like, just like, you know, the next step? Because I know what I want.
All right, you go first then.
All right, I want to, this is like everyone on the internet, but I want red and blue 2. And you start off in Kanto, new trainer, and you go throughout the region, and you like see all the changes of what's happened. It might be 5 or 10 years after the events of red and blue or gold and silver even.
Mm-hmm.
And like you re-meet characters, and eventually you bump into Lily, and then you go back to the I've got Unova on the head. Alola. You go back to Alola. Yep. And like it's back to front, so that'd be really cool.
Yeah. I don't see why not. The thing is with Alola is that it does feel like they just took the Sevi Islands and
it feels kind of similar. Yeah, it feels like the island post game.
It does. Anyway, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want for the next gen. I'm not sure. At this point, they need to slow down on Pokemon creation and stuff like that. That's very obvious.
They have though.
They have
slowed down.
Yeah,
and like the inclusions in Sun and Moon were pretty good, like the Pokemon designs.
Yeah. Not complaining about the Pokemon designs at all, but I'm not really too sure. I just know what I want them to do with it.
Yeah, you know the structure you want it to.
I just want the structure to reform, and if they're going to create something new, fine. If they're going to recreate something old or move on, or step up from something old, then fine. I'm not going to detest an argument at any of those things, but I need a more fleshed out experience. I want to be able to explore during the mid game, early game, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to have to be told 20 times about what a status condition is. There really should be a skip tutorial type of option. Just so you can skip all that stuff.
You want the professor to show you how to throw a Pokeball?
Oh God, please. It's this button and this button, okay? All right. I know. It's fine, Professor.
It's fine, Professor. I'm good, mate. God damn it.
I just think overall, flesh that out and then flesh the end game out, and it's all very pretty and it's all very nice right now, but there's no content to it. Needs to be bigger, better, stuff like that. And I think with the Switch they have plenty of potential for that.
Yeah.
So.
Just I'm just reading here Tamazoid's thing on voice acting. What do you think about voice acting for Pokemon?
I mean, it works in other games, so why wouldn't it work in Pokemon?
Yeah. I'd like Pikachu's the only Pokemon that's voice acted in the games at the moment. You send him out and he just goes Pikachu, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've it feels that much more immersive just sending out Pikachu than it does any other Pokemon. Because it actually sounds like, a creature, not just a...
Sounds like something that you'd see in the anime.
Yeah. So, I know there's 700 or something, but that's their fault. I think they should voice act the Pokemon at least.
Well, they've voice acted a whole handful of them, so there's no reason
I would like to hear them voice acted, actually say their names, like the anime.
No, just something that needs to be done. I agree.
God, I'm really excited for Pokemon. I really, as much as I'm like, I'm
so worried.
I actually really do want to see it at E3. I know we probably won't, but I actually would love to see the next Pokemon game.
Agreed.
And if it's going to come out this year and it is going to be, it's going to have plenty of content in there.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Bryce, let's move on to a new segment we're going to introduce to the show. And I got no idea what we're going to call it. Let's, for now, call it Smash Talk.
Smash talk. Okay.
All right, so this segment, we're big Smash fans.
Mm-hmm.
We're big Nintendo fans in general, but we're big Smash fans as well.
Yeah.
So on the lead up to the next Super Smash Brothers game coming out later this year, we're going to be talking about what we want from the new Smash. Whether it's like we might be talking about character one week, might be talking about, I don't know, stage mode another week, whatever. This week we're going to start with a character.
Right.
And do you have one off the top of your head, Bryce?
Off the top of my head, not particularly.
Well, what about Midna and Wolflink? Let's start there.
Let's start there.
Would you want to see these guys in Smash?
I think. Well, let's just put this out there and say we'll pick a character from a series each time we talk about a character.
Okay.
All right. So that way we'll pick a series each week and we can sort of discuss that. Anyway.
Okay, that sounds cool. Yep.
Yeah. I think so. This week, obviously, we'll touch on Zelda. I think there's a lot of additions that people want from Zelda. I feel like that stuff is not just like Wolflink is a thing that's been talked about before, and I think that's also been talked about between us, and that would be really cool. But there's also like stuff like Kirahim or Demise, as much as it'd just be a Ganon clone or something like that. But
I think Girahim was one I was hoping for in the most recent Smash Bros.
Yeah, because he is kind of iconic to that game at this point. Zant, or Zant, or whatever you want to call him. He also would have been a really great addition.
We're Australians, Bryce. We say Zant.
Oh, sorry, Zant.
Zant. I guess if you're Australian, it goes Zant.
Zant. I think there's still a lot of potential for characters to be added from the Zelda series in general. Whether it's a good idea to add more, I'm not too sure. Yeah,
there's a fair few, but like we know Breath of the Wild Link's been added. Whether that's just going to be the new look for Link or
I hope it is.
Probably is, to be honest.
I don't want Breath of the Wild Link to be his own character.
You don't?
Breath of the Wild Link.
I guess, yeah. But he might have like a completely different moveset using his runes and stuff.
I mean, I think they'll just add to the Link character.
Yeah.
I hate to say it at this point, but like Link is very stale and he's needed changes for a long time.
They changed him a lot in
They did, admittedly, but I think that's what they where they're at. I think they're just looking at it and they're just kind of like, well,
because like with Breath of the Wild Link, you won't have supposedly you won't have access to the boomerang. And probably not the
Well, you could.
I know you could, but you don't have the iconic actual items. Like, you don't have the Hero's Bow, you don't have the Gale Boomerang.
The Zal Boomerang. Like, you got... Yeah, sure you do. Like, the only thing you wouldn't have is probably, like, the Boomerang. No, there's a Boomerang.
I know there's a Boomerang, but it's just
there's
Boomerang.
Boomerangs.
I know, but they're just Boomerangs.
So is the Zelda one. The Zelda one is also just a Boomerang.
Yeah, but it's the Gale Boomerang.
The Gale Boomerang... Okay. You want to talk about that? He didn't have that in Smash 1 or Melee.
No, he didn't.
He only
didn't
had
exist.
He only had it in what? Did he have it in Brawl? He had it in Brawl, and he had it in 4. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. The Boomerang is irrelevant. The Hero's Bow I can understand, because he's had that since the fucking beginning of time.
Yep. Literally.
But they have options for that. You've got like the Bowl of Light and stuff like that. There's no reason he can't use that. Or and if you say it's because they attached it to Zelda's Smash Ball, and it'll just be like they give her the move that she used in Breath of the Wild near the end of it. You know what I mean? I think it opens up potential for a lot more things, honestly, more than it does hinder them.
Yeah. I would be intrigued to see if they use any of these do use these runes from the game. That'd be pretty interesting.
Well, you think about it from the perspective of like he has the potential to turn into basically what would be Shulk.
Yeah.
Essentially, which is like where you have how Shulk, you press the button multiple times, you get different Monado arts. It would be the same thing, but you press the button a couple of times, it changes your rune, and then you could use different runes to do different things.
Good work.
That would be really unique and really cool for Link.
That would be, yeah.
I understand. I don't know. It's really hard at this point. I just feel like Link has zero competitive edge for most people nowadays, and he's one of the oldest characters in the books and needs.
I don't know. They really improved him in Smash 4. I think it was really good in Smash.
I think so too, but like I think there's a lot of characters that have had a lot of uniqueness added to them over the years that haven't been addressed. You know, Peach and Super Princess Peach, even that wasn't touched on. That was a long time ago, and like that. Have you played Super Princess Peach?
No. Not much. No. I have.
In Super Princess Peach, you had a range of emotions, and they all did different types of things. They could have added that to Peach in some way, like throughout the years. That would have been cool, because that's something that's actually completely relevant to a character in her own game.
Yeah, because it's like Smash Ball, she just goes fucking berserk.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then with Mario, you know, you've got Cappy now. You could use him to do an all different range.
I think
of
we'll
things
see
of some
Cappy
kind.
somehow. We'll see Cappy somehow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You've obviously got Link. He's gone through a complete rework. And that's pretty much what they've gone at this, like for the Zelda series in general. I think they know what they're going with now, and it's not the traditional Zelda formula. I think they'll still do that in some direction, but not quite the way they were doing it before. I mean, I suppose I could go on and on. I just think. Sorry,
you're right.
Yeah, hiccups. I just think. If Link from Breath of the Wild, if Link from Breath of the Wild overtakes what we have as current Link, then that's fine. I think most people's dreams of old Link would be realised by Toon Link anyway. Toon Link is there and he's a thing.
Well, personally for me,
I know
he wouldn't.
They play differently, sure, but it is still the same moveset with slight adjustments.
Not anymore though, because
he's a clone. You know?
Well, Toon Link remain the same, similar to Brawl, whereas normal Link, you know, when you're running and you press A, he does like the dash with the sword and stuff. Like the mechanics are pretty different. And, like the boomerang works a lot different.
The mechanics different. The aesthetic is completely the same. You throw bombs, you chuck boomerangs, you shoot arrows, you do an up.
No, yeah, you do.
You do a spin slash. You do a downward slash. You do a aerial spin slash.
I know that, but just the characters are very different to play.
Mechanically, they do work differently, yeah. But I think like that is inherent problem with clones, is people are like, oh, but they play differently, and like, but they're the same character in just about every sense of the word.
I don't think that's a bad thing, though. I think that's. I think it's good having like variations of movesets.
Then keep custom movesets, because that's completely.
No, that's different as well.
It's completely eliminated the problem with clones if they're going to keep something like that in the game.
Yeah, but it's good. Like I think it's good having like Ganondorf being like slow, like you got to think about where you're punching and all that, and then you have like Captain Falcon just running around just kneeing people in the face. Like I like the variety in the characters like that.
I just think. Well, okay. Let me reiterate this. Toon Link and Link are the same entity.
Mm-hmm.
They are both Link.
They are both Link.
They both do the exact same shit as each other.
Kind of, yes.
Fucking. They do shit the same, just in different animation frames. Would that make you happy?
Yeah, sure. For the context of this podcast, sure. Yeah. I'm over the moon.
But like characters like Ganondorf and Captain Falcon, yes, like their moveset is cloned, but they are extremely different characters. Link and Toon Link, the speed difference is not that much different between them. Their moveset generally does the same thing, with different processing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think that Link and Toon Link and even Kid Link, when Kid Link was a thing, I think it's been a trouble defining the three of them apart from, hey, look, this one moves quick, this one moves slightly quicker and does a move slightly differently. Do you know what I mean? I think like Breath of the Wild Link could be a thing, and then they could have Toon Link be a thing, and Toon Link could hopefully attract the older Link players, they'll do something to make him feel a little bit better, and then make Breath of the Wild Link a little bit more new.
What about the people who want the old Toon Link?
Then bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. I don't know many people who give a shit about Toon Link. All Link has characters, so
I care about Link as a character. There you go. There's one.
That's one. But
I bet there's a lot, Bryce. I bet there's a lot who like Link in Super Smash Brothers.
Probably, but nowhere near as much as like other characters that are getting used. You got to be real about that. How many competitive Links have you ever seen?
I don't know.
Everyone's
Everyone's playing Diddy Kong, so they wouldn't know.
Diddy Kong. Anyway, we got completely off track.
We did,
but I think that's also a thing is when you're talking about characters like that. I think Wolf Link could be a good addition in some respects, but again, Zant, Girahim, something like that. There's a whole range of choices that'd be really great for the game. Hell, you could even look to Hyrule Warriors, and you got stuff like Lana, Linkle. You've got
put Linkle in the game, yeah.
Well, Linkle's
you like get rid of normal Link. Just put Linkle in the game. That will.
Well, Linkle's completely different to Link. She uses crossbows.
She is.
I don't know. You've got Impa from Hyrule Warriors. She's got a big, massive fucking greatsword. She's awesome. It's just
Impa would be cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool opportunities there. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be really hard for me to pick which one out of all those characters that would fit the bill for Smash.
Put Linkle.
Fucking, you're gonna give me shit for that now. Okay then, smartass. What's your opinion?
Yeah, put Linkle in the game. That would be.
Shut up.
Nah, I like. I don't know.
Is it the anthropomorphic deal that you like it? And do you like the fact that it's a dog in a game like a Madaras in Marvel vs. Capcom? Or
I just like the idea that it's a completely different character, and you get Midna in there as well, pretty much. Be like on the back. I wanted
Midna and Wolf Link to be a thing in Melee, not Melee, Brawl. I wanted them to be a thing, but they didn't come. I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah. All right, Bryce. We better end this segment here.
All right.
The show's hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, Bryce. Thank you for coming on.
I'm here every week.
I know. No, I just thank you. You're over at my house. I'll give you a thanks.
No, thank you for having me. I guess.
Shit. But you can thank me for being on the show too. You're the co-host. Come on, thank me.
Thanks, mate.
No worries.
Jesus Christ.
Let's read an iTunes review, Bryce.
All right,
let's do it. So we got an iTunes review from Tamazoid. It's a very nice review. I quite
love the chat.
No, thank you very much, Brendan. Who needs? I'll start again. Who needs Mario and Luigi when you have Drew and Bryce? The byplay between these two is simply fantastic. All their podcasts flow extremely well, whether that's only the two of them or whether they have a special guest. They definitely have a winning formula of a podcast here.
Thank you, Tam, you beautiful, beautiful person.
Yeah, thank you very much, dude. That means the world to us.
Oh, and they do. All these reviews, they all mean something. You know what I mean?
So if you have an iTunes account, it helps us out a lot if you go over there and leave a review for the show. Or if you don't have iTunes, don't have access to iTunes, just spread the word by word of mouth, whether it's social media or just tapping your friend on the shoulder and go, "Hey, you hear about the House of Mario?" And they'll go, "What the hell you on about?" You're like, "It's a show you put in your ears." They'll be like, I'm in the market
revolutionary.
I'm in the market for an ear show, so yes.
Perfect explanation.
Yes. And we are part of the 8-Bit Collective, a collective of podcasters from 8bit.net that put some podcasts in your ears, pretty much, aren't we?
Yes. Filled with beautiful people of all different tastes and kinds and sizes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like that. Different tastes and kinds of sauces.
So if you like sour and salt, you've definitely come to the right show.
You come to the right show.
But if you're a sweet and fluffy person, I'm sure there's somebody in there for you. If you're
Is this Tinder? You're talking about Tinder now.
Yeah, it's Tinder.
Someone's there for
Tinder
you.
casts. There you go.
What was you talking about on the Tinder cast?
Oh, I met a beautiful chick the other week.
No,
Went out on a nice date and I cried.
she had pink hair. Could do 5 backflips.
Tinder, everybody.
Yeah. So this week for the Nintendo Jukebox, we've got a Wii Sports remix. That's exciting. You like Wii Sports? Remember the Wii Sports? I certainly do.
I still think this should have been announced as Wii Sports JRPG.
So this is a Wii Sports theme, emotional orchestral arrangement. So this isn't your typical, like, you know, let's get up and swing some rackets.
It's not like, yeah, let's get in, move it.
So if you're at the library, go and find a nice quiet spot, put your headphones in, and just...
And prepared to cry. Be prepared to cry because it's emotional.
It really is. It really is. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you... we won't see you, but you'll hear from us next week.
Yep, as always. When we're not missing a week.
Yeah. Yeah.